Live from our Coronation Park studios in Mbabane, it has just gone 10 o'clock Central Africa time. Good evening and welcome to the news brought to you by Eswatini Television. I'm Sanapo Ingwane alongside Namakabeso Nkambolo in sign language. We begin here first, the headlines tonight. Parliament is calling on the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs to intensify public education on nuclear energy, radiation and potential exposure risks. A 33-year-old man from Malandi has gone missing after he went for the illegal mining of green chat at the mine 2 weeks ago. And the Minister of Health says despite a decline of 10% on the immunization coverage, the Kingdom of Eswatini is on track. Good evening. The news in detail. We begin here. Our first story. Parliament is calling on the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs to intensify public education on nuclear energy, radiation and potential exposure risks.
As the Kingdom of Eswatini is preparing to introduce a legislation on nuclear and radiation safety, a move aimed at regulating the use and handling of radioactive materials in the country, the Minister of Tourism, House of Assembly Portfolio Committee led by Mbabane East Member of Parliament, Welcome Dlamini as the chairperson, has raised their concerns through a parliamentary report. The Honorable Committee is calling for greater public consultations, increased transparency and a clear framework for the enforcement and monitoring of nuclear energy. In the report, the committee stressed the importance of ensuring that the nation's safety, environment and public health are fully protected, especially as Eswatini explores more advanced technologies in medicine, industry and energy. They also urged the ministry to prioritize awareness and training to prepare citizens for the implication of such a law. The committee recommended reputable experts to impart knowledge to the nuclear and radiation regulatory body to avoid committing mistakes. The Honorable Committee further ascertained on the aspect of disposal or storage facility for disused sources. The Ministry of Tourism says the proposed legislation marks a significant step towards aligning the Kingdom of Eswatini with international nuclear safety standards. The Nuclear and Radiation Safety Bill is to be unpacked clause by clause by the Ministry together with the Honorable Committee before it is adopted by the Honorable House. Reporting Samkalsiwe Koza, Mbabane.
A 33-year-old man from Malandi has gone missing after he went for the illegal mining of green chat at the mine 2 weeks ago. Police and members of the community conducted a search for the missing man.
Sibusiso Kumetse, aged 33 of Malandi in the Hoho region, has been missing for the past 2 weeks. It is suspected that he went missing when he was with others when they went for the illegal mining of green chat. It remains unknown as to what happened before he disappeared because no one has said anything thus far. The police, together with the community members and the Umbuto Eswatini Defense Force members, went for the search on Tuesday morning, but to no luck. Chablan Madlopa from the Royal Eswatini Police Service asked members of the public to respect the mine's rules and avoid trespassing.
Yasena sakasabuyi kulobo busuku lobo leli nje seliviki lesibili solanyamalele so singamaphoyisa ke National Commission ukuthi asiphumele umkhankaso simfune lo muntu singabe uphuma wabheka up unyamelo ushone kuphi.
Madlopa says the group of men he was with when he disappeared haven't said anything because they are avoiding contact with the police. The drone technology was used during the search as well. It showed a group of others slowly trying to gain entry to the mine for the continued illegal mining of the green chat. The search started in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Fatigue was written all over the face of others since it has been a long day. The search and investigation is still ongoing. Reporting Mkiani Msibi, Malolocha.
The Ministry of Health says despite a decline of 10% on the immunization coverage, the Kingdom of Eswatini is on track. Now, this was said by Eswatini expanded program on immunization manager Kolisiwe Dlamini.
Every last week of April, countries under the World Health Organization commemorates World Immunization Week. Expanded program on immunization manager Kolisiwe Dlamini says Eswatini's efforts are noticeable and that sustained immunization coverage is key to achieving long-term public health goals.
In 2024, we didn't do well. Our numbers, instead of recording 90% and above, we dropped a little bit. We are at 80% coverage by December. But nonetheless, because we have strategies on place, once we have the vaccines, the nurses in the immunizing facilities have a strategy to reach out to the mothers that have missed the vaccine. So they either call them or they link with the RHMs, rural health motivators, to motivate those mothers, telling them that now the vaccine is available. At times, we'll even also stage outreach services whereby we'll go out to them because it's not their fault that they didn't vaccinate. So even the one that didn't come, then will get that opportunity because we'll be reaching out. So during the Africa vaccination week, there are a lot of activities that we're doing. One is to create more demand, give more information on the immunization, and give more information on the vaccines that are available in the country. So I would also like to appreciate our government because for the past 5 years, government has come out clear in the budget that they will support the procurement of vaccine. So even though we do have those inconsistencies sometimes, but eventually at the end of the day, government always buy the vaccine. So the vaccines that are using in the country are procured through government funds.
The minister also encouraged parents and caregivers to ensure that children receive all scheduled vaccines on time as the ministry continues to strengthen access in even the most remote areas. Reporting Samgasiwe Koza Mbabane.
A King's Office worker and her spouse working at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy together with other 2 family members have been charged with 260 facata counts. Now, all 4 accused are alleged to have fraudulently obtained over 440,000 Malangeni through facata scams.
The first accused, the King's Office employee, is Hlopsile Lungile Matsenjwa, age 44. Her husband, who works at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, is Tembinkosi Mavimbela, age 54. The third accused is Busiso Matsenjwa, age 39. And he is the younger brother of the first accused, Hlopsile. The fourth accused is Zwakele Minenhle Shongo, age 23, who is the girlfriend of Andile Mamba, the son of the first accused, Hlopsile. All of the accused persons are from Budla. They all face charges under the Organized Crime Act, fraud and money laundering and financing terrorism. In their bail application filed with the High Court, all the accused claim they are innocent and say the crimes were committed by Andile Mamba. They say they are not involved in the offences they are charged with. Andile was arrested in 2024 and charged with similar offences. He was granted bail but fled to Johannesburg, South Africa. Hlopsile claims that police kept asking her where her son Andile was. She says when she told them that he had gone to Johannesburg, they did not believe her. She further claims that police misunderstood her explanation and decided to arrest her and her relatives. She says this is why they are now in jail. She also says she is currently building a 3-bedroom house at Budla, and police question how she could afford it. She says police forget that she works at the King's Office. She adds that the additional money over 8,000 and 6,000 came from her poultry and vegetable farming business. Her husband, Tembinkosi Mavimbela, says he is the Minister of Natural Resources and Energy Assistant Surveyor. Mavimbela also says it was Andile who committed the offences, and he is the son of his wife Hlopsile. He insists that he never received any money from Andile. He too echoes his wife's statement that their arrest is a result of police frustration at failing to locate Andile. The second accused, Sibusiso Matsenjwa, also denies committing the offences. He says Andile, his nephew, is the one responsible and himself should not have been implicated. The fourth accused, Zwakele Minenhle Shongo, says the offences were committed by her boyfriend Andile. She says they have a 6-week-old baby together. She claims that her phone number was used by Andile in the commission of the scam to deceive people. She feels it is unfair that she is being punished for crimes committed by her boyfriend. The Crown has opposed the bail application of the accused persons. The prosecution is expected to give reasons for opposing bail. The application is currently before High Court Judge Bonkosi Magagula, reporting Fortune Dlangamandla, High Court.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy is warning residents alongside the Mkondo and Ngwembisi River of possible flooding following an announcement by South African authorities of the opening gates of overflowing rivers. This was said by the Director of Water Affairs in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, Eswatini.
Following a pronouncement by South African authorities of opening the gates of several dams, releasing large volumes of water downstream, including the Kingdom of Eswatini due to persistent and above rains, the Director of Water Affairs in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, Eswatini, is urging residents living near the Mkondo and Ngwembisi rivers to remain on high alert following a possible flooding.
There are some rivers whose gates have been somehow opened. We do have a dam just upstream of Ngwembisi River. That dam itself is also full and is spilling. And definitely there are some 2 gates which have been opened and discharging water to Ngwembisi. The very same applies to rivers such as the Mkondo River, which is also coming from South Africa. There is another dam that has been opened. 2 gates again have been opened in that river or in that stream or in that river system, which now discharges more water into the Mkondo River.
Gege Member of Parliament Magesi Dlamini and Kwene constituency headman appreciated the warning.
Sibonile kwemuka imfuyo, kwemuka imithi, kwemuka nje lokuningi mhlambe lokuseceleni kwalomfula. Nalabo mhlambe labalimile kukhanzakala kosekwemuke konke lokuseceleni besingacela nje abantu bacaphele kakhulu ikakhulukazi imotolo bangajifaki sendlulele nebe ukuthi nangethi inyawo bangathathi futhi wona lawo mathuba ukuthi bawejwayele emanti.
The Tuingudla Council members advise communities in low-lying areas to take precautionary measures, avoid crossing flooded bridges or rivers, and closely monitor official updates. Whereas the ministry further encouraged the public to stay safe, report any incidents or signs of rising water levels immediately. Reporting Samkasiwe Koza, Babane.
The International Monetary Fund has revised global economic growth to 2.8%, down from 3.3% in January, and while that spells trouble for many, Business Eswatini says it could have been worse. Reacting to the news, Business Eswatini CEO Ina Dlamini says job creation and private sector production locally will slow tightly.
In his budget speech in February this year, the Minister for Finance, Honorable Nell Rickenberg, stated that Eswatini's 2025 gross domestic product growth is projected to peak at 8.3%, the highest in 30 years. The International Monetary Fund statistics in January put the projections at 4.2% growth. Business Eswatini says taking into consideration all the latest developments, the projections may have to be revised downwards.
I can guarantee you, with what's happening right now, there will be a slowdown, job creation in our exports, in everything that we do. Because like I said, we are not totally impervious to what has happened. It will affect us very, very badly. So it will slow us down. Probably not as bad as other countries, though, let me say that, because our baseline is 10%. Other countries is even worse.
The revision of funding by the United States of America has non-governmental organizations also raising concerns that the local economy will be greatly affected.
Now in April, a number of our organizations have received indications that their projects are now being cut. Some of them are being allowed to go on. But those projects that are going on are too few for them to make an impact, because as you know, these projects were responsible for these climate actions that I'm talking about, livelihoods projects, agriculture, education, capacity building, entrepreneurship, and human rights work. So a lot of that work is now not going on in the country and countries overall, which means there's too few US dollars floating around at the moment, hence the adjusted outlook.
The International Monetary Fund recently revised the economic growth for South Africa, Eswatini's largest trading partner, from 1.5% in January to 1%. This shows a 0.5% slower growth than predicted for this year. Reporting, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
Right, and just like that, we segue into the world of business where we take a look at financial indicators to get a sense of how markets performed today in the Up Next financial report.
Standard Bank.
Right, we visit the International Sugar Organization to take a look at the sales of sugar globally. Welcome back. We move on with the news. The Ministry of Health says the incinerator that has or had malfunctioned at Stobela Health Center has been fixed and things will be back to normal again. Now, this follows concerns from the public of the infectious waste that has been improperly disposed at Stobela.
Infectious and hazardous waste has been improperly disposed at Stobela Health Center, endangering the lives of the public, especially children who may be tempted to play with the waste. The news crew telephonically contacted the health center's administrator, Matogoza Sbanze, on the matter. Sbanze attested that indeed that the waste was unbearable and improperly disposed. When asked as to why this was happening, Sbanze says it has been going on for quite some time and they reported the matter to the Minister of Health. He says the Minister of Health is better placed to respond. We then contacted Funwago Dlamini, the Chief Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health, on the matter.
Ngingasho ukuthi bekwenza sibili vele beyikhona inkinga kepha-ke nyalo yase isolvekile inkinga bekufe incinerator.
Dlamini says indeed hazardous waste has been improperly disposed, which as a result of an incinerator which malfunctioned but has since been fixed. Dlamini says another contributing factor is the lack of petrol for vehicles since some waste needed to be transported now and again. He says they do understand the danger that this may have caused to the public, but it has since been fixed. When these journalists asked that going forward, this will not happen again, Dlamini promised that it will never happen again. The problem has since been fixed. Reporting IMKN MCB, Mbabane.
Coming in from the court, a 21-year-old man who wants to complete his Form 4 and Form 5 education has been charged with sexual assault of a 17-year-old girl. Now, the accused, Sanele Andile Shoge from Matelezini, claims that the complainant is his girlfriend and he was unaware that she was a minor. He is accused of committing the offence in Matelezini between 2024 and 2025. The prosecution seeks to have his name entered into the sex offenders register. The accused states that he was arrested by the police on the 23rd of April 2025. He says he will plead not guilty when the trial begins. He has applied for bail, stating that he needs to raise money so that he can return to school next year. The High Court judge granted him bail set at 15,000 Malangeni. He is required to pay 3,000 upfront, with the remaining 12,000 suspended. The accused was represented by his lawyer, Sabelo Dlamini. Welcome back on our sports news. The 2025 Kwamakoko Half Marathon race has been officially launched, with the event set to take place on the 9th of August this year. Fabrice Msonera has more on that story.
The continued vibrancy of the Kwamakoko Legacy Run is a testament to your resolve. We therefore salute you. As a ministry, we equally commend the strong partnership between the Municipal Council of Manzini and the Kwamakoko Foundation. Your collaboration demonstrates what is possible when local government and communities move in consent towards a shared vision.
The 14th Kwamakoko Legacy Run adds fuel to this fire. It energizes the momentum we are building towards a more active and engaged city. Over the next 5 years, up to 2030, we are committed to rolling out inclusive sporting, cultural, and recreational activities across the city of Manzini. So next time when you see us, we'll be having darts, umlabalaba, netball, volleyball, and all other sporting courts as time will allow us and resources.
What is also important as a context this year, Ngutsi Indlu Yakamakoko, the house that was used to launch the onslaught on South Africa, is turning 60 years this year. That also tells you how long the city has been involved in what is happening in South Africa.
Right, and that's how we come to the conclusion of the news at 10 at Eswatini TV. Before we go, here's a quick reminder of news-making headlines tonight. The Parliament is calling on the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs to intensify public education on nuclear energy, radiation and potential exposure risks. A 33-year-old man from Malandi has gone missing after he went for the illegal mining of green chert at the mine 2 weeks ago. And the Ministry of Health says despite a decline of 10% on the immunization coverage, the Kingdom of Eswatini is on track. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, that's how we come to the conclusion of the news at 10 here at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. Up next, we cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it is good night and God bless.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds, full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. You ask, and we give you the royal experience. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible